4.3.3 The nations on God's side and the nations on Satan's side. In the Second World War. In the Second World War, an alliance of the democratic nations of the United States, Great Britain and France led the nations on God's side. Satan's side was the alliance of the fascist nations Germany, Japan and Italy. What determined that the former stood on God's side and the latter on Satan's side? The Allies stood on God's side because their political systems were democracies. The political system for the final stage in the providence of restoration, founded upon the Abel-type view of life. The Axis powers, on the other hand, stood on Satan's side because they upheld fascism, which was anti-democratic and stemmed from the Cain-type view of life. Moreover, the Allies and Axis powers were separated into God's side and Satan's side because the former nations supported Christianity, while the latter opposed and persecuted Christianity. Germany, the leader of the Axis powers, deprived people of their basic freedoms, and its ideological oppression denied them their religious freedom. Furthermore, Hitler massacred 6 million Jews. After concluding a concordat with the Pope, Hitler attempted to subordinate the churches under the control of cooperative bishops, while corrupting Christianity into a nationalistic neo-paganism, based on primitive Germanic religion. In protest, some Protestants and Catholics put up bitter resistance. Japanese militarists during the Second World War forced every church in Korea to install a kamidana, an altar for the Japanese Shinto gods, and compelled Korean Christians to worship at Shinto shrines. Those Christians who did not comply were imprisoned or killed. Korean Christians who had fled to Manchuria in search of religious freedom were brutally massacred. These measures against Korean Christianity were intensified toward the end of the war. Italy supported Germany's cause as one of the Axis powers. Against the general thrust of God's providence, Mussolini promoted Catholicism as the state religion, with the selfish intention to use it for unifying the people under his fascist regime. On these grounds, Germany, Japan and Italy during the war may be classified as the nations on Satan's side.